Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching Making Gotham Great Again. I mean, every week I'm doing some type of art story about some solution or something we can do about the environment. Because as we discussed, we're in climate collapse. We have mass pollution. We're already seeing it. We're going to have climate refugees, which is going to destabilize governments. The CIA started looking into this 20 some years ago. The CIA was like, oh, wow, climate collapse could destabilize governments, and that's going to provide a security risk. You know, the CIA or the Pentagon, not the CIA, the Pentagon. The Pentagon has been not a bunch of tree hugging hippies over there at the Pentagon typically, but they have been like, this is a real issue. And they've been doing this for 20 years. So we need to find solutions. So we find all these cool solutions. Some of you send me cool articles. This was sent actually by Kate, our moderator, of like sustainable building. So these are these blocks made from hemp, and I'll let the video explain it all to you.
What I love about building with these blocks is it's like Lego for adults. That's what everybody can relate to.
Adults.
Hempcrete is a great insulator. It's fire resistant. It's easy to build with, and it's good for the environment. So our mix is comprised of hemp hurd, which is the inner core of the hemp plant, and we mix that with lime. The reason we developed this modular building block was to make it easier to work with hempcrete and easier to integrate hempcrete into current building standards. My brother's the one who invented the product, and Mac helped somebody do a hemp build that was in situ, meaning you tap it in place on site. And it was taking an extraordinarily long amount of time, and they had to wait for it to dry as well. So he was thinking there's got to be a better way. We love hempcrete, but it has to be something that's easy for builders to use to make it practical for a building product. So that's kind of why we developed the block, so we can be on par or slightly more expensive than conventional building materials, but way superior as far as the performance of the building once it's done. It's hempcrete with the load-bearing capacity of high-performance concrete. So you're getting all the benefits of a concrete wall with half the weight, and the insulation values are 10 times more. It meets or exceeds the passive house standards for energy consumption. We developed the blocks to be easy to handle. They're only about 25 pounds. They stack and interlock together and makes an integral structure that becomes monolithic once they're all put together. And it's fast to work with, so there's no waiting for anything to dry. Once you stack the wall up, it's ready to go. The black frames are the heavy-duty frames, which are designed for tall wall heights of 30 feet. And the green ones are the standard duty or light-duty frames, which are designed for residential, and they're good for freestanding walls of about 20 feet. So this is the internal structure that's load-bearing and provides a structural support. This is the hemp lime matrix that we put around it for insulation. And this is a scratch coat we use so we can apply the lime plaster and the lime stucco directly on the exterior and the interior. But as you can see, it's pretty simple. It's hemp and lime wrapped around a structural frame. And as you can see here, we have conduit holes for electrical. Every 5.3 inches, you can run electrical conduit through here while you're putting the blocks together. There's no sand in any of our materials, so you can cut these with a bandsaw or a reciprocating saw on site. Now, we actually don't like the word crete because we don't use any concrete in our mix. So the reason we use lime as part of our mix is because it is more environmentally friendly. It reabsorbs the CO2 that was released when it was being manufactured. So between the hemp absorbing the CO2 as it grows and then sequestering the CO2 in the material, as well as the lime reabsorbing the CO2, it actually becomes a carbon negative material. So it actually absorbs more carbon or CO2 than is released in its life.
Carbon negative. And weed, you know, or hemp, as we know, is a weed, 420, but like it's very sustainable. Like this is this kind of stuff. I'm just not an engineer. I'm not a construction guy. Like this is just brilliant. I love this kind of stuff. It's so brilliant.
Other benefits of hemp is it being rapidly renewable. What that means is that it grows quickly. So for example, it'll take a tree 20 years to get to maturity so you can harvest it. Whereas with a hemp crop, it's like 90 days, 110 days. Well, this is what the hemp plant looks like once it's dried out. So you can see how thick the stalk is. That's the part that contains the fiber on the outside and the hemp hurd on the inside. And you can see how tall it grows. And this actually isn't the tallest variety out there. So this is what a dried hemp stalk looks like. We put the structural frame on the inside of the block. It has high compression ratio, so it can withstand as much pressure as concrete. And same for shear strength for wind and hurricanes and earthquakes. Because of the way it all goes together, it transfers the load amongst the whole wall assembly, not just a point where it meets the ground. So there's a whole bunch of benefits that we've designed into the block to make it stronger and a better way to build. So it looks pretty simple, just like Lego, but really there's a whole lot more going on in the material choices and in the way it's built that makes it a really, really excellent building material for not just for residential, but for commercial buildings as well, and institutional. We first of all started off with using wood supports because we thought that would be environmentally friendly. The problem we have is that wood is not consistent when it comes to compressive strength and flexural. And so if there's a knot in your piece of wood, it'll vary the numbers greatly for compression strength. So it was very difficult to be able to use wooden supports. So what we ended up doing is creating a moldable piece that we could reproduce reliably. We came up with our own formulation of a biocomposite material where we can use vegetable oil-based polyester resins or polyols, and it's more like an epoxy than it is a plastic. It's like a thermoset, which means it doesn't deform with heat. The biggest problem with plastics is if they get hot, they'll kind of go wobbly on you, as will steel if it gets hot enough. This does not deform. And also, once it's set up, it doesn't emit any VOCs after it's been set. So this is kind of a demonstration wall that we put together. So it shows the interior of the hemp blocks, what they look like. And these are the interior frames. By the way, we just cut these on a bandsaw. They're cut in half to make a flush end. And that's how we do it. We put mortar in between to seal them for air gap. When you cut the very top course of blocks off, then we'll put the top of wall strip on that. This is simply a stucco finish on the exterior, and we have a plaster finish on the interior. This is lime plaster and lime stucco. This wall is about 12 inches thick with the stucco and the plaster, because the blocks are about 10 3/4 inches wide. So total width is about 12. So this is a complete wall system, meaning that once you stack the blocks up and you put the mortar in between as you stack them, and you're done. Like you put the top of wall on it, you can now put your second floor on, or your roof trusses right on top of it. And as you stack them up, they're actually fitting on the sockets inside the supports. It's not resting on the actual hemp material. So that way you get a very even wall going all the way up to the top. There's an art to doing masonry, and you don't have to have that skill to do this with our blocks. They're self-leveling in effect compared to masonry courses. You cannot use hemp line below grade because it will decompose. So what we did is we developed a product that can be made out of either recycled plastics or out of soybean oil to create foam. And so what we did is we've got a waterproof block, just like our hemp blocks, that you can use below grade now. And it's super light. The same thing goes up real fast. You finish it like it was insulated concrete form, except there's no concrete. So you just stack the blocks up, put your skin on the outside, you're good to go. And it's super insulative. It's got like an R70 value on it. So one of the questions we get all the time is about hemp. Why did we pick hemp? Well, when we first started this little venture, we didn't even mention it was hemp, because everybody would make jokes like, well, do you get high if your house catches on fire? Can I smoke it? So people didn't understand the difference between hemp and cannabis and marijuana. So we didn't even mention it. So we said, hey, it's a biofiber material, hence the name, just biofiber. But now that hemp is becoming more popular, people are beginning to understand all the benefits and thousands of uses of hemp for food, but also for oils, for pharmaceutical purposes. The fiber has been used for thousands of years to make textiles. The reason we use hemp is because it's a great material. It's got a bunch of benefits. It's an insulator, and it also has thermal capacity to regulate the temperature. It's fire resistant. We've tested ours to over 2 hours fire rating with 100% structural integrity. And the other thing is it regulates the interior humidity, so it gives you a very comfortable environment, reduces the amount of noise transmission between the wall and the inside and outside. And also the beauty about hemp is it sequesters like 1.6 times its weight in CO2 while the plant's been growing. So it's a great carbon sink, sequestering about 10 tons of carbon for every house. That's a big deal.
10 tons.
Please share this video if you liked it. Also, be sure to subscribe to Exploring Alternatives and check out our playlists for more stories like this. Thanks for watching.
Exploring Alternatives is a YouTube channel, which I just came across thanks to Kate. So check it out. So there we go, guys. There's another solution. And it's something to think about. That's like we talk about on this show, vote with your dollars. Like, obviously we need like top-down solutions for the environment, but in the short term, you're a contractor, you're going to remodel your house. You're a part of a school board and you're going to, allocate new money for a new building or whatever. Throw this into the mix. You're on a homeowners association, like whatever. This helps. I mean, and again, voting with your dollars, the more people that get involved in, obviously we're live in a capitalist society, like it or not, for better or for worse, it is what it is. I wish everything was socialist, but it isn't. So if the capitalists see that there's money in these hemp blocks that are better for the environment, I'm all for it. There's another solution. I've done dozens of solutions and they're all on a, smaller scale. And if we put more money into them, look what they could do. So I like finding some positive stuff out there. So, thank you, Kate, our moderator, for sending us this. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth, and remember, shave your knuckles for justice. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We are still in our 9th month of demonetization from YouTube. So support what we're doing at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's free to sign up, and there's a premium level at $10 a month. And for that, you get everybody on the platform's premium content. Myself, Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore, Whitney Webb, Kim Iverson, Abby Martin, and many, many others. You can also support what we're doing at Venmo at Graham-Elwood and go to GrahamElwood.com. We have a PayPal button and a P.O. box. I also have crypto wallets, which are all in the show notes. Thanks for supporting what we do.